Hi, my name's Max Kasper. I'm the principal bass of Symphony Nova Scotia, and it's my pleasure to give you a small introduction and insight into all the music we're playing on our third Spotlight Series concert. We're going to start this concert with a composer you may not have heard of, Samuel Coleridge-Taylor, and it's 4 novelettes. And he was an English composer. He lived just at the turn of the last century. He sort of burst onto the scene, I guess, because of Edward Elgar. Edward Elgar really championed his music, and he wrote this amazing piece for a choral piece called Hiawatha's Wedding Feast, and it became extremely popular. And he made 3 tours of the US with this, which is pretty remarkable considering he was an English composer and considering he was Black, and it was 1904. So he even met Theodore Roosevelt at the White House. He got an introduction to the president. He sought to do for traditional African music what Brahms did for Hungarian music, and Dvorak did for Bohemian music, and Bartók did for folk songs of his area. He was really trying to incorporate the music that he knew and grew up with, and folk songs and traditions of his culture, into a broader classical ideal that was happening in the turn of the century. After that, we're going to play a very famous piano concerto by Edvard Grieg with the phenomenal soloist Marc-André Hamelin. Grieg was, again, sort of a nationalistic composer, so much like Samuel Coleridge-Taylor was using African tunes, Grieg used his own sort of Norwegian folk tunes and became a very big deal, not only in Norway, but in Europe. He modeled his first movement of this piano concerto after Schumann's piano concerto. And it's funny because we're going to end the concert with a piece by Schumann, so it's good to know. And he was so popular in Norway that he got a government pension when he, well, it was supposed to be when he retired, but he got it when he was 37. He lived a lot longer than that, but they just loved him so much. They just say, here, have some money. He was never satisfied with the orchestration for the piano concerto, and he rewrote it 5 or 6 times throughout his at different points in his life, including right near the end of his life. He was still tinkering with it. There exists this sort of neat thing where you can have a version that's the new and improved version, or you can hear, if you dig around in the archives, you can hear recordings of his original orchestration. And we end our concert with a piece by Robert Schumann, his 4th Symphony. He had a promising career as a piano soloist, but he tried to strengthen his fingers with some sort of finger strengthener machine that stretched and ruined his tendons. So 2 of his fingers were rendered less than optimal, shall we say, by this device, and he had to give up playing. Because he couldn't play, he became a composer, but he also conducted a little bit, although history has it that he was not very good. At one concert, he just got so flustered he kept beating after the music had stopped, which is kind of not done. And he became a music critic, and he started his own music journal and was very successful at that. That's where he dubbed Brahms as the young eagle who was going to revitalize Germanic music. He writes amazing music. Schumann for me there's these great tunes, but it always sort of goes somewhere where I don't expect it. Like for Tchaikovsky, you think like, oh yeah, that's going here, and it goes there, and you love it, and it's really amazing. And Beethoven's very logical, and I see it. But for me, Schumann, it's always sort of surprising. Like when we do it, it's wonderful, wonderful music, but it's very hard to sort of lock into and play because he turns a different corner than I expect, and it's wonderful. It's nice to be surprised by something that's 300 years old or however old it is. So anyway, I'm sure you're going to love it. It's a great, tuneful symphony, and I hope to see you there. There are wonderful, wonderful offerings all season long, so come to as many concerts as you can. And if you can't, Please visit symphonynova.scotia.ca for information about live streaming concerts. And I'd like to thank Jules Chamberlain and Red Door Realty for being our Spotlight Series sponsor.